Did you know it is possible to be a scientist even when you are very young? One of the most important things is to learn how to observe. That is, to learn how to watch things closely and carefully.
This is a video of the embryonic development of a zebrafish. We didn't use any anesthesia. We didn't manipulate the fish in any way. It's just how they developed under a microscope. This whole clip that's purple here, it happened in about 12 hours, but we sped it up a lot. This right here is the chorion, which encloses the zebrafish, and inside this is the egg yolk, which these cells are feeding off of this yolk. That's how they get their energy to develop into a fish. Mm-hmm. We would do gene studies, and where we would get a one-celled fish and alter the DNA of the fish, so we would be able to study what certain genes did by seeing the absence of the genes, and we would create, mutant fish and cyclops fish and all kinds of crazy fish, but it was for cancer research.
It is good to do something with them, and you're not poking them with needles and injecting them with drugs and stuff like that. That's why I was really excited to help her out with this project.
Right here is called the interface. This is the big yolk, and this is the massive cells, and they're just constantly dividing very quickly. It kind of gets blurry because it's so three-dimensional, and the microscope only kind of captures one plane. And then this is when
they're about 3 days old.
Yeah, maybe. No. They're probably about 24 hours. At this point, they're still in their chorions, and the reason they're moving around is because they're trying to break out of their little shells. Normally, the zebrafish are transparent, so this is the color of them. They have no color. So I just added color filters. There really isn't any kind of scientific explanation for the colors other than it looks pretty. I got a little liberal with the colors here. It is a little psychedelic, but that's a fish. When they come out of their chorions, they're not quite mobile. They don't really swim around, but they still can move. That fish was in the scope of my camera for a second, and of course he didn't like it, so he just left. They're all individuals, but they all follow the same genetic makeup, and they follow the same time frame of development, but they still have their own little unique characteristics as well. And this last scene right here is the fish mating. So they don't actually mate, they just kind of rub against each other, and the female releases the eggs, and the male releases the sperm, and they fertilize in the water.
Was that sped up, the mating?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it looked funny. That's why I was look, it looks like a Benny Hill movie.
Yes, watching fish is fun. And it can be important, too. When we watch the living things about us carefully and with patience, there are many wonderful lessons we can learn.